The biggest story in my mind of this non-playing season right now has to be Rodgers stays, Adams goes. I mean, what an O. Henry-like plot twist to the way the Packers are trying to continue to run it back. How did this come about, and how do you think it sits with Aaron Rodgers? So many people just assume he's got to be livid with the Packers organization, but the Packers read him into it from all I hear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and I think that's such a key thing because, like, the communication last year, Rich, was nowhere. I mean, I can tell you, like, I think there was like a 6-week, 2-month period, whatever it was last year, where the Packers literally couldn't get a hold of him. And, you know, I think he's been pretty public in saying, like, he wants to be in the loop on these sorts of things. And so, you know, like, the fact that the Packers kept him in the loop throughout, I think, softens the blow here. I also think he's so close to Davante Adams that he probably understands his reasons for doing this and for wanting out probably better than even the team does, you know? And so if this really was unworkable and the Packers really were willing to go financially where Adams went with the Raiders, and it was still, you know, at this point where there was nothing the Packers could do, then I think Aaron Rodgers probably has a pretty good understanding of it. Obviously, he wants great players around him, and Davante Adams is a great, great player, maybe the best receiver in football. But, you know, I think the fact that, you know, he was, I think, apprised of this and the communication is so much better than it was a year ago, softens the blow. I think that I would have to think, and I don't know this for a fact, but I would have to think that there is a plan B that's been communicated to Aaron Rodgers for how they're going to handle this now going forward. And maybe it means taking a big swing at receiver, whether it's signing an Odell Beckham or trading him for a Robert Woods or whatever it is, trading for DK Metcalf, whatever it is out there. I'd assume that there's been some sort of plan that's been communicated to Aaron Rodgers where he feels comfortable because, of course, I think by now we would have heard that there was a huge issue on his end.
Trading for DK Metcalf, you think that's possible?
I mean, I think it sort of depends. So Seattle, to me, is interesting just because, I mean, DK Metcalf's going to be expensive to keep. He's going into a contract year. And, you know, I think it's one of those where it's like if they say, like, they're going forward with Drew Lock at quarterback, right, and they make the decision we're turning the page, right, and I'm sure, you know, like they'll have an idea, you know, by the time we get to the draft of whether or not DK is going to be on the team past this year. So, like, it's one of those where it's like, if this is a retooling year, is it, I mean, if you know you're not going to be able to re-sign him, or, you know, you're just that far apart in contract negotiations, it may make sense, again, if this is a year where you're restocking the cupboard and trying to, you know, turn it around and draft well and kind of build a new base for yourself, it could make sense where, you know, DK Metcalf's, you know, value right now would be at a high point. So, it's a call. I'm not saying they are going to shop him, but, you know, if you're a team like the Packers, I think it's a call that you make.
Certainly, if you've got the draft capital now because Adams left. And
right.
The question I have, last one for you, is why was it unworkable for Adams if they did put the money on the table? Was it, from what it appears, just too late? Like they should have done it last year? That's it?
Yeah, I think that's really it. You know, and I think he had it in his head. I don't know if you guys saw the reports out there from a couple weeks ago that he bought like a $12 million mansion, I think it was, in Vegas. And I'm not like that up on Vegas real estate, but I think $12 million goes a long way in Las Vegas, right? In buying a house. So,
yeah, it comes with the blue. It comes with the Blue Man Group, I think.
Yeah,
something that big.
So
yeah,
I'd assume that there was you know, there are enough breadcrumbs here where it does seem like, you know, I like Davante had it in his head that, you know, my college teammates there, it's a team I grew up rooting for. It's a team I've dreamed of playing for. And, oh, by the way, like now I find out that they're willing to satisfy every financial desire that I have. You know, I think he just kind of maybe that thought in Davante's head had gone to the point of no return. And I mean, it's a great sign for the. I mean, I'll throw this in there too, just to finish up, Rich. You know, you look at Josh McDaniels and what he's doing in Vegas, and how opposite it is of what they did in Denver. where he immediately sidles up to the quarterback and partners with the quarterback and has been so effusive on Derek Carr. And now instead of tearing the team down and bringing in middling pieces the way they did in Denver, they're going big game hunting and bringing in Chandler Jones and Davante Adams. I could see why that would be attractive to somebody like Adams.
Yeah, man. The AFC West, huh? Isn't that it? It's just
yeah. Who would have thought 3 weeks ago? If I told you 3 weeks ago the Chiefs are going to be the least aggressive team in the AFC West, how would you have responded to that?
It would have been surprising, but also somewhat understanding that you got to go for it. I mean, honestly, look at the AFC West right now. You've got. If I had to ask you, name me the top 5 pass catchers in the league, I think you'd say Adams, Hill, and Kelsey would be in 3 of them, right? If you got to name me some of the top quarterbacks in the NFL, you definitely go with Mahomes, and Herbert would be thrown in there, right? And now Russ is there.
Now.
And then now you got to get pass rushers to prevent all these guys.
Which is, I mean, you look at the pass rushers, it's insane. Chandler Jones, Max Crosby, Bradley Chubb, now Randy Gregory coming over. Frank Clark, I know he didn't have a great year last year, but they hope he'll bounce back. And then Bosa and Mack in L.A. is pretty crazy.
It's great. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.